Afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. It is I, Joshua Watson, welcoming you to a third hour of nerdom. I pity you, poor souls. The jingle machine isn't working again. I swear, every time I go for the jingles, I've not got them set up properly. There we go. Now it's way too loud. This is what we expect. This is Student Radio. I'm going to introduce you to three lovely people, at which point the headset goes slightly crazy. This is going to be fun. So, first off, this is sounding... I'm getting a really big ting. Everyone else is getting ting with their mics on. Hello? That's better. And that sounds awful. Anyway, first off, go for it, Sophie. Just talk.
I don't know.
Just say something. Just say hello.
Hi.
Nothing lovely?
I look perfect for radio.
That's all you need to know about him. And Anasha?
Why the logo?
Yeah, he's got the voice. He's got the better radio voice than I have. Yeah, I'm getting lots of tin feedback here. Is any headsets working, right, people?
I think we're alright, yeah.
Yeah, okay, so it's just me being weird.
Yes.
I don't understand technology.
You are from the dark ages, Matthew. So yeah, I brought these three crazy people in an attempt to try and fill some showtime. And we sat in the room next door for a good half an hour and came up with nothing. I want to say just a little bit more than nothing.
We came up with no more than we had before we'd sat there.
That is a good point. I mean, we all kind of came with individual ideas and left with absolutely the same ideas. Actually, you wanted to do a reading.
I
yes.
did.
And Matthew, you wanted to do a quiz show or something?
Yes, but I haven't written it yet.
Well, that's a good start. And Sophie wanted to try and hide in the corner and pretend she wasn't here. I'm just getting thumbs up. She's just given up at this point. That's going to be great. We'll start with a song, because that's normally how most radio shows begin, and it's a good start, and also allows everybody to calm down a little bit.
I'll take your word for it.
What do you mean you'll take the word for it? Have you never heard of radio show before?
No.
Well, that's...
I listen to Radio 4.
I can't fault you because I do too.
Yeah, I mean, neither can I. It's great.
It still annoys me. Don't know why.
This one has been wildly requested by my number one fan, which is my mother. This is The Last of the Famous International Playboys by Morrissey.
Reggie Crazy.
You've tuned into the Nerd Show, and you might hear something good if you...
Stay a while and listen.
Oh, I forgot to turn off the music. This is what happens when I've got more than one person in here, and I've got to try and manage people. Mics come in early, jingles come on late, and I forget to turn off the music between songs. Anyway, Ashley, you wanted to do a reading from a Lovecraft, right? Oh yeah, I need to turn you on.
Thank you, yes.
So when you're ready, go ahead for it, and we will chill here for a bit and let you enjoy, have some fun as we try and work out what the hell we're doing here. Go for it, mate.
By one H.P. Lovecraft. Not an uncontroversial figure, but hopefully a fun story. This is The Other Gods. Atop the tallest of Earth's peaks dwell the gods of Earth, and suffer no man to tell that he hath locked upon them. Lesser peaks they once inhabited, but ever the men from the plains would scale the slopes of rock and snow, driving the gods to higher and higher mountains, till now only the last remains. When they left their older peaks, they took with them all signs of themselves, save once, it is said, when they left a carven image on the face of the mountain, which they called Ngranek. But now they have betaken themselves to unknown Kadath, in the cold waste where no man treads, and are grown stern, having no higher peak where to flee at the coming of men. They are grown stern, and where once they suffered men to displace them, they now forbid men to come, or coming to depart. It is well for men that they know not of Kadath in the cold waste, else they would seek injudiciously to scale it. Sometimes when earth's gods are homesick, they visit in the still night the peaks where once they dwelt, and weep softly as they try to play in the olden way on remembered slopes. Men have felt the tears of the gods on white-capped Thrai, though they have thought it rain, and have heard sighs of gods in the plaintive dawn winds of Therion. In cloud ships the gods are wont to travel, and wise cotters have legends that keep them from high peaks at night when it is cloudy, for the gods are not lenient as of old. In Ulthar, which lies beyond the river sky, once dwelt an old man, avid to behold the gods of earth, a man deeply learned in the 7 cryptic books of San, and deeply familiar with the Panoptic manuscripts of distant and frozen Lomar. His name was Barzai the Wise, and the villagers tell of how he went up to the mountain on the night of the strange eclipse. Barzai knew so much of the gods that he could tell of their comings and goings, and guessed so many of their secrets that he was deemed half a god himself. It was he who wisely advised the burgesses of Ulthar when they passed their remarkable law against the slaying of cats, and who first told the young priest Atal where it is the black cats go at midnight on St. John's Eve. Barzai was learned in the lore of Earth's gods, and had gained a desire to look upon their faces. He believed that his great secret knowledge of gods could shield him from their wrath, so resolved to go up to the summit of high and rocky Hathenglar on a night when he knew the gods would be there. Hatheg-Glar is far in the stony desert beyond Hatheg, for which it is named, and rises like a rock statue in a silent temple. Around its peak the mists play always mournfully, for mists are the memories of the gods, and the gods loved Hatheg-Glar when they dwelt upon it in the old days. Often the gods of earth visited Hatheg-Glar in their ships of cloud, casting pale vapours over the slopes as they danced reminiscently on the summit under a clear moon. The villagers of Hatheg said it is ill to climb Hatheg-Glar at any time, and deadly to climb it by night, when pale vapours hide the summit and the moon. But Barzai heeded them not, when he came from neighbouring Uthra with the young priest Atal, who was his disciple. Atal was only the son of an innkeeper, and was sometimes afraid. But Barzai's father had been a landgrave who dwelt in an ancient castle, so he had no common superstition in his blood, and only laughed at the fearful cotters. Barzai and Atal went out of Hatheg into the stony desert, despite the prayers of peasants, and talked of the earth gods by their campfires at night. Many days they travelled, and from afar saw lofty Hatheg Klar, with his aureole of mournful mist. In the 13th day they reached the mountain's lonely base, and Atal spoke of his fears. But Barzai was old and learned, and had no fears, so led the way boldly up the slope that no man has scaled since the time of Sansu, who is written of with fright in the moldly Nakoptic manuscripts. The way was rocky, and made perilous by chasms, cliffs, and falling stones. Later it grew cold and snowy, and Barzai and Atal often slipped and fell as they hewed and plodded upward with staves and axes. Finally the air grew thin, and the sky changed colour, and the climbers found it hard to breathe. But still they toiled up and up, marvelling at the strangeness of the scene, and thrilling at the thought of what would happen at the summit when the moon was out and the pale vapours spread around. For 3 tortuous days they climbed higher and higher toward the roof of the world. Then they camped to wait for the clouding of the moon. For 4 nights no clouds came, and the moon shone down cold through the thin, mournful mists around the silent pinnacle. Then, on the 5th night, which was the night of the full moon, Barzai saw some dense clouds far to the north, and stayed up with Atal to watch them draw near. Thick and majestic they sailed slowly and deliberately onward, arranging themselves around the high peak above the watchers, and hiding the moon and the summit from view. For a long hour the watchers gazed whilst the vapours swirled and the screen of clouds grew thicker and more restless. Barzai was wise in the lore of earth gods, and listened hard for certain sounds. But Atal felt the chill of the vapours in the lore of earth gods, and listened hard for certain sounds. But Atal felt the chill of the vapours, and the awe of the night, and feared much. And when Barzai began to climb higher and beckon eagerly, it was not long before Atal would follow. Or rather, it was. So thick were the vapours that the way was hard, and though Atal followed on at last, he could scarce see the grey shape of Barzai on the dim slope above the clouded moonlight. Barzai forged very far ahead, and seemed, despite his age, to climb more easily than Atal, fearing not the steepness that began to grow too great for save the strong and dauntless man, nor pausing at wide black chasms that Atal scarce could leap. And so they went wildly over rocks and gulfs, slipping and stumbling, and sometimes awed at the vastness and horrible silence of bleak ice pinnacles and mute granite steeps. Very suddenly Barzai went out of Atal's sight, scaling a hideous cliff that seemed to bulge outward and block the path from any climber that inspired of earth's gods. Atal was far below, and planning what he should do when he reached the face, when curiously he noticed that the light had grown strong, as if the clouds' peak and moonlit meeting place of the gods were very near. And as he scrambled on toward the bulging cliff and lit sky, he felt fears more shocking than any he had known before. Then, through the high mists, he heard the voice of unseen Barzai shouting wildly in delight. "I have heard the gods! I have heard Earth's gods singing in revelry on Hatheg Kla!
The voices of Earth's gods are known to Bazai the prophet. The mists are thin and the moon is bright, and I shall see the gods dancing wildly in Hatheg Kla that they loved in youth. The wisdom of Bazai hath made him greater than Earth's gods, and against his will their bells and barriers are as naught. Bazai will behold the gods, the proud gods, the secret gods, the gods of earth who spurn the sight of men.
Atal could not hear the voices Bazai heard, but he was now close to the bulging cliff and scanning it for footholds. Then he heard Bazai's voice grow shriller and louder.
The mists are very thin, and the moon casts shadows on the slope. The voices of Earth's gods are high and wild, and they fear the coming of Bazai the wise, who is greater than they. The moon's light flickers as Earth's gods dance against it. I shall see the dancing forms of the gods that leap and howl in the moonlight. The light is dimmer, and the gods are afraid.
Whilst Bazai was shouting these things, Atal felt a spectral change in the air, as if the lords of earth were bowing to greater laws. For though the way was steeper than ever, the upward path was now grown fearsomely easy, and the bulging cliff proved scarce an obstacle when he reached it, and slipped perilously into its convex face. The light of the moon had strangely failed, and as Atal plunged upward through the mists, he heard Bazai the Wise shrieking in the shadows.
The moon is dark, and the gods dance in the night. There is terror in the sky, for upon the moon hath sacred eclipse, foretold in no books of men or of Earth's gods. There is unknown magic on Hatheg Kla, for the screams of the frightened gods have turned to laughter, and the slopes of ice shot up endlessly into the black heavens whither I am plunging. High, high, at least, at the dim light I behold the gods of earth.
And now, Atal, slipping dizzily up the inconceivable steeps, heard in the dark a loathsome laugh, mixed with such a cry as no man had else heard save in the phlegethon of unrelatable nightmares. A cry wherein reverberated the horror and anguish of a haunted lifetime back into one atrocious moment.
The other gods! The other gods! The gods of the outer hells that guard the feeble gods of earth! Look away! Go back! Do not see! Do not see! The vengeance of the infinite abyss! The cursed, the damnable pit, the merciful gods of earth, I am falling into the sky!
And as Atal shut his eyes and stopped his ears and tried to jump downward against the frightful pull from unknown heights, there resounded on Hatheg Kla that terrible peal of thunder which awakened the good cotters of the plains, and the honest burgess of Hatheg and Nia and Ulthar, and caused them to behold the clouds, the strange eclipse of the moon that no book ever predicted. And when the moon came out at last, Atal was safe on the lower snows of the mountain, without sight of earth's gods or of the other gods. Now it is told in the mouldy narcotic manuscripts that Sansu found naught but wordless ice and rock when he climbed Hatheg Kla in the youth of the world. Yet, when the men of Ulthar and Nir and Hatheg crushed their fears and scaled that haunted steep by day in search of Bazai the Wise, they found graven in the naked stone of the summit a curious cyclopean symbol, 50 cubits wide, as if the rock had been riven by some titanic chisel. And the symbol was like to one that learned men have discerned in those frightful parts of the Noptic's manuscripts, which are too ancient to be read. This, they are found, Barzai the wise was never found, nor could holy priest Atal ever be persuaded to pray for his soul's repose. Moreover, to this day the people of Ulthar and Nir and Hatheg fear eclipses, and pray by night when pale vapours hide the mountain top and the moon, and above the mists on Hatheg Klar earth gods sometimes dance reminiscently, for they know they are safe, and love to come from unknown Kadath in ships of cloud, and play in the olden way as they did when earth was new, and men not given to the climbing of inaccessible places. That was The Other Gods by H.P. Lovecraft.
Okay, Asher, where is that level of dramaticity when we're at the D&D table? Because when we're playing D&D, you sit there in the corner, barely saying anything to the rest of the party. We get nothing out of you, and now I give you this, and you're like, I'm quaking in my boots, man. I'm deeply impressed.
I love horror stories, man.
Yeah, but like, come on, where's this characterization in the rest of your time?
Honestly, I've done this a lot. This is like my favourite pastime.
I don't know how to feel about that. That's slightly,
okay, maybe not my favourite pastime, but I pull it out every so often.
Yeah, that sounds cool. It sounds like something
That sounded so wrong.
I've put the other two back on now, because I feel
it was unexpected.
That's putting it mildly. I don't know where to go from that, because that was really good reading. So I should probably explain why I was talking about D&D. This is where I know this motley lot from. On the
Object to motley.
You're the most motley of all of us.
I object even stronger now.
You are the worst out of everyone here. Yes, I meet this a lot at this crazy lot D&D on a Wednesday. On a Thursday, I'm this tired. I'm already getting days mixed up. Everyone has pretty good characters at the moment, apart from Sophie, who's in between characters. Does everyone want to introduce their character for a bit? I think that'd be quite a good thing to do.
Which one? Because there were two characters that I think, is it the one you want me to introduce?
You could have the next half hour just them rattling off all the character ideas.
I know, this is true, especially
I can do another poem.
No, I think we've got...
That was an effort.
That was a marathon, man. That was, honestly, my producer was going to be going, what just happened? It's either I'm going to love it, or I'm never going to be allowed to do a fill-in show again.
I really hope someone just tuned in the middle of that. Just what the hell is going on?
The chances are quite likely that that's happened.
Yeah, someone has gone, let's tune into this up. What is going on? This is not what I was expecting at this time. Anyway, so yeah, why don't we get some character intros? I think we should first hand it to the man himself, whose character is probably the beating force of the party. Yes, I want you to do your old character. Come on, Matthew.
I am the Great Lord Darkness, supreme evil being, and ruler of all the forces of wickedness in, well, one corner of Lower Earth at least. I command armies, legions of followers, most of whom are, quite honestly, quite ineffective. He's effectively a Dark Lord in the middle of a midlife crisis. And if any of you, which none of you will have done for almost certain, heard Elven Quest, it is that Lord Darkness.
So basically you can't come up with your own character and just steals off something else.
Exactly. But if you steal it off something that no one's ever heard,
no one cares.
No one knew I was stealing and was surprised
You realise half the party has heard it now.
Half the party's heard it now because I told them about it.
Yeah, you basically forced everybody to learn it, so we understood your character.
You understood my character pretty well anyway.
That's true. And then the entire world just has slowly become revolving around the Lord Darkness.
As it happened, I ended up taking about half of the party into my service explicitly. Including giving them the great little atrocity cards that whenever you do anything evil, you just leave a little card behind saying who it's been done for.
Including both of my characters?
Yes.
And one of mine, the infamous dog.
Yes.
I tried to play D&D as a dog. That's a funny experience.
That was the best. You were the team leader for a little bit.
Yeah, for all of half an hour. No, not even like an in-game half an hour.
To seize leadership.
Your election
from
motto
me,
was, if I remember correctly, woof.
Yes, it was a very amazing speech.
Well, I had to vote for you.
Yeah, I know. The whole party did. The whole party
and
did.
Of course, the great line is like, "You're the only person who've noticed the insert enemy here. Are you going to tell the rest of the party about it?" Woof.
Like, I was completely useless. Oh, you rolled perception, you hold high. Are you going to tell the rest of the party? I can't. I'm a dog.
Shall I introduce my character?
Well, I think, if anything, the next character for already talking about dog to talk about would be dog's sworn rival and murderer.
You killed me first.
How many ounces of... So, obviously, how do you kill a dog with chocolate, obviously?
I remember that, yeah.
So, go on.
With 500 kilograms of pure cocoa powder.
Run through
It was
cat, go on.
definitely
Which,
deadly.
that's just it. She's just a cat. She's just a stereotypical cat.
We just came up with characters that would, like... So, you asked, didn't you, for a law, like, generals for your army or
I don't know
something?
about you, but my cat doesn't want to murder people.
The idea was that...
Mine do.
Well, that's
the
very
idea
offensive.
was that it would play as a pair of characters who were sort of generals of Lord Dark, or leaders of lower levels of Lord Darkness's army, sort of equal level minions who are a cat and a dog, who are...
And we
Well-
took that from friendly rivalry to let's kill each other.
pretty much in the space of about 2 weeks.
Yeah, pretty much. Like, we came up with the characters just after Christmas, and then within 2 weeks, I killed you with a separate character, and then you killed me. And then, Asher, what are you currently running? Because, like I say, we don't hear a lot of your character at the table.
I haven't really thought of it. I'm not very good at participating.
Your one-man show is what we've just learned from earlier.
Pretty much. No,
Except
so
there's
my
four.
character, I
It's
suppose,
a bit hard, man.
I mean, I guess he's sort of northern sounding or something. Anyway, my character's Dylan Botch. Sounds more Yorkshire. Yeah, I reckon he's a Yorkshireman. Dylan Botch.
Let's do background
Yorkshire
live on air.
stereotype in 3, 2, 1. Does he- I was
That's not
gonna say-
Yorkshire.
No,
I was going to say, does he
I
enjoy
reckon
walking
it
on the moors with his whippet?
Well, this
Oh dear, we've just been taken off the air for offending too many people.
don't
Thanks,
know, and I
guys.
don't-
Great one.
I gave
sorry.
adequate warning. I'm going to defend
sorry,
myself.
alright.
I gave adequate warning that there was a Yorkshire stereotype of
Okay,
that.
so Dylan just sounds like me. That makes that easier.
Okay.
So Dylan Botch is a mountain dwarf who's also a ranger, and he's a folk hero. And I guess what was he was like 50, 60. So that's about all I've thought about him. Yeah.
I like how all three of us didn't mention
I
class
did make
or
up a
race
religion
at
for
all.
him.
Go for it.
His religion
The fundamentals of D&D just skipped over.
is the broken stud of the lost god's armor.
Nice. Right, he praises a bit of a god's armour.
Yeah, the lost god.
Why not?
It's quite Lovecraftian.
That does sound quite Lovecraft.
Yeah.
Honestly, if I get you to mention Lovecraftian again, I think some people are going to wee themselves thinking about that. Like, there's a bit, and I was trying to manage your volume for that because you were being quiet on purpose and it was quite good. But when you hit the cackle bit, I was like, turn everything down. Let's put a song on because I feel like everyone needs a bit of a mood breaker before Matthew goes into some madness. He's obviously got plans.
I'd like to. It's not madness, it's sanity.
You can
Theo Gatsman.
It's organised madness.
what you want.
It's not organised, but it's not madness.
Okay, keep talking, you say. Which one? We've got phone
Well,
recommendations.
I've got a history game and then some puns.
Yeah.
Hopefully that bell comes through.
Yeah, no, that came through the headphones. I can hear it.
That's very good.
So this is the first recommendation from an actual member of the team. Asher wanted a song by Theo Gatsman, and this is "Break Up Together."
We used to make love together, now we break up together. We break up together, such a strange kind of pleasure. Now we break up together. We break up together. We used to share everything. Toothpaste, laughter in the kitchen sink, and nothing could come between. Two young lovers sharing everything, but somehow things have changed. There's no more laughter, no more kitchen sink, and though we can remain, at least I know that we can share the pain. We used to make love together, now we break up together. We break up together, grief and we'll share the blame. Divvy the guilt and we'll split the shame. We'll drift apart but somehow we'll stay connected through our suffering.
Listening to the Nerd Show, only on NSR.
I'm getting so many strange faces for using the jingles. They're my jingles, okay? I sat there and made it. That's Metal Gear Solid. Yes. Yeah, people do get that. Good. I do a good Snake impression, okay? Give me a break. Okay, it's awful. Fine, whatever. I was just talking to... Oh, for God's sake. Oh, thanks. Thanks for that obvious... No, they definitely picked that up. I'm sorry, that was definitely picked up. Yes. I say that, you guys' mics weren't even on, so yeah, I don't know if it even picked up.
Yeah, I suspected that.
Yeah, well, that's great, as always. This is why I can't do more than one me.
In which case, I could make that wasn't a good Snake impression because there wasn't any hissing. Joke again.
There we go. I was saying to the people during the song, this is kind of turned into a bit of just raw nerdom. Like, normally when you hear my show, I filter it out and it's, just the highlights. This is kind of the heart, the pounding heart of a nerd. We've got someone reciting Lovecraft in a dramatic tone, someone who was about to go on to talk about more engineering than I want to know about.
And it's not engineering, it's history.
Well, it's engineering history. It's just, and someone sitting in the corner trying to get out of not saying anything. Alright, Matthew, you have plans. Let's hear them.
This isn't so much a plan, but this is a bit of a game that might work.
Yeah? Okay, what's the plan then? Hit me.
Well, I have here in front of me, thanks to Wikipedia, everyone's favourite, totally and always honestly reliable source of information.
As a scientist,
I have the 1922 Washington Naval Treaty, which, as everyone knows, was made in 1922 to limit warship construction, so that Britain and America didn't fight a war in the 20s.
Okay.
And so that the economies that were all coming from the war weren't destroyed. So it has in here all sorts of rules, and so I'm going to read a few of the rules out, and then I'm going to invite my fellow host to think of loopholes around those rules.
Okay, first of all, fellow host, I am the host here. You are but a guest, Matthew. I know you're trying to take a seat from me, but it's not happening yet.
I'm not trying to take the seat. If I tried, I'm sure I'd succeed.
Shut up.
That was a quote from something no one will know.
It's time to play ship construction loopholes.
Okay, let's go.
It is.
Matthew, read out the first one.
So, the first rule is that no capital ship of any of the powers that signed the treaty, that being Britain, America, Japan, Italy and France, will have a gun with a calibre in excess of 16 inches. Anyone think of any loopholes for those?
Some way of saying that it's technically not a gun.
Or it's technically not on the ship.
Both of those were seriously looked into, but found to be mostly impractical. Most people they tried to use squeeze ball projectiles in naval shells, which is where the gun barrel tapers. Yes, the gun barrel tapers, so it's wider at the back, and it squeezes smaller, which towards the front, which means you can fire a larger shell faster. But that wasn't tried. Next rule, everyone's favourite rule: no cruiser may be built over a displacement of 10,000 tons. How do you get around that?
You just exclude random shit for random reasons.
This is one we heard in advance. Just if you think Ash is some sort of genius here, no, this is go for it. Go on, bring us the list of things that people excluded to try and weight tons.
America decided that anything invented after 1922, such as radar and any refits they did as well, didn't count as being in the 10,000 tons because they didn't exist when the treaty was written.
So you're saying that only the ships that they'd built before then actually counted in the treaty?
No, only any modifications to the ships, like adding extra AA guns or radar, were excluded from the 10,000 tons.
Well, that's right. They didn't know at the time.
No, that's wrong. They're breaking the rules. Everyone broke the rules.
Okay, so no, I'm confused. If you make the ships after the treaty's been signed,
you have to make them
according
to
to the
weigh less
rules.
than 10,000 tons and have guns no larger than 8 inches for cruisers.
Yeah, but then if you decide to do additions to it, the Americans got away with putting anything...
They didn't get away with it. Everyone protested and said, what the hell are you doing?
Oh, okay.
But no one cared, because by this time it's the late 1930s, and in 1936 Japan walks away from the treaty, and that triggers the so-called escalator clause, which means you can build bigger ships. Everyone else thinks, we'll build 45,000 ton ships. That'll match for anything they build that's slightly bigger than the treaty. The Japanese built the Yamatos. They have a displacement of 70,000 tons, which is twice what's allowed in the original treaty at 35.
They just pretend both halves of the
No,
boat with separate boats.
they bought...
That's a good idea. We should have come up with that one.
They bought the dockyard space in front of the British Embassy, directly opposite the port where they were built, and built a warehouse. They then built a giant screen of bamboo around where they were constructing the ships, hid the fact they were going to be armed with 18-inch rather than 16-inch guns, and no one had any idea
Great
that
job,
they
British
had built
intelligence.
these huge vessels.
Even though they were built directly from the British.
Even though they are 70,000 tons, which is about twice the size of anything that's been built previously.
Can I just say, people listening, and I know it's about 3 people at this point because everyone's tuned off, the scariest part is he's doing all of this from memory. He is not looking at a single note. He is sitting here looking
the treaty in front of me, but I don't need it.
He's sitting here just explaining it straight at me, and I'm like, help?
Listen.
Am I surrounded by crazy people, is what I'm asking here.
That's what he's dark.
You're being out-nerded on your own show.
I mean, let's be honest, that's fair. I'm not actually that much of a nerd. I just pretend. What?
Nothing.
Anything more, Matthew, or you wrapped up on...
I'm talking about this all the aircraft carriers. There's some great ways out. There's the American method of, because the treaty says an aircraft carrier has to weigh more than 10,000 tons to be classed as an aircraft carrier, you could just build ones that weigh 9,950 tons instead and build endless numbers of those. That was found not work. The French tried to build submarines armed with cruiser guns, armoured like cruisers, but that went underwater, so they were submarines and didn't count towards
They
cruisers.
actually worked.
The Surcouf had 2 8-inch guns that worked. The subsequent ones were not built because everyone realised what they were doing and closed that loophole in the treaty. There's all sorts of so many tricks you
The
can do.
story is
International treaties are meaningless. People will just find loopholes around them.
Yes,
Yeah.
I mean,
Never let Matthew talk on my show again because he'll go on about international treaties for 15 odd minutes.
Was it in 15 minutes?
Roughly.
Has it?
Yeah.
Oh dear, I'm terribly sorry.
I'm deeply impressed. Okay, like I was saying about like nerdom. Okay, we've got some heavy nerds here. How would you describe nerdom to you people? Because I tried to do a show on this really early on in my radio career. Radio career. Yes, I know. In a years, I'm already claiming I have a radio career.
Does it have a north and south?
What?
Korea, North Korea, South Korea.
See, there's the bell. That's why I needed the
It's
bell.
just a dad joke.
Anyway, so yeah.
It's a pun, it's not a dad joke. I will defend
It's
that to
terrible.
the death. It may be terrible, but it's a pun. I will defend to the death my right to make puns.
Puns count as dad jokes.
They do not.
Yeah, they do.
You're about to soon
I second
hear
that.
something that makes puns incalculably not dad jokes.
Why did I let this happen? I
don't
should have
know.
just filled the show on myself just playing music. I thought no,
But we would miss all these fascinating boat facts.
This is fascinating boat facts and scary readings of Lovecraft and Sophie sitting in the corner occasionally making
that would
cycle
be a
noise.
shame.
Yes, so come on people. Like I was saying, you're nerds, okay? We're being very open here about that. How do you feel, and this is a bit like fuzzy, but you're going on about all this boat facts. How do you feel about having all this knowledge that nobody else, and let's be honest, most people don't have much even interest in?
No one cares about it.
Yeah, but why do you like having that knowledge?
I looked it up once.
And that's it, you just retained it.
I'm good at remembering things. I know the rules of Warhammer. I haven't owned a Warhammer rulebook since 6th edition, and people who understand Warhammer will understand how strangely impressive that is. I know the rules, I've never looked them up. admittedly, I did get a couple of bits and bobs wrong, but I get corrected on those and then get them right.
If you're playing Warhammer, that's already far too nerdy for me. Like, D&D is one thing, but Warhammer is for the uninitiated. D&D, but without the fun. It's like, we remove...
I object to that description strongly.
You remove
I
all
do
the
too,
characters.
it's alright.
You remove all the characters and the actual people, and it's just, you just... From my understanding, it's just, you just send... you just kill people.
It's the bit of D&D that you can just refer to as the admin.
Yeah.
You could
But there's
describe
pretty
it as that.
miniatures and they go bang bang and
Pretty
die.
expensive miniatures.
They are very expensive models.
Yes.
Expensive
They
plastic.
are very good models. They are, which is why they're
The
part
best.
of why they're so expensive.
So high
Mostly
quality.
not because they're high quality, but because since they're good, they can justify charging loads of money for them.
Capitalism at
And
its
ultimately,
finest.
better models are.
And you're welcome
Now
to
that
the show.
is the
the same
definition of
costume.
nerddom.
You're welcome to the show anytime if you want to start making quick quotes about capitalism.
Selling random crap
Yes.
to people who love things.
I have done about. Nobody here knew I had a show before I invited them on. Sophie did, I think a month ago, because I keep going on about it to you. She got the picture. You two didn't have a clue that this was something I did. Did you even know NSR was a thing?
I knew it was a thing.
I listened to it like once.
I intended to find a corner and stake a claim to it, but it appears we're recording in a circular studio.
No, it's not.
And
It's a square. Got a bell.
It needs to be circular for the joke to work.
Oh.
It's a circular studio.
Because it's a circular studio, there isn't a corner to stake a
I
claim.
mean, it works less because you've been saying I've been sat in the corner the entire time.
Yeah, that's true. Matthew's just collapsed.
At least
here.
I tried.
That's it. Matthew's gone. We've lost him finally.
Ironic. He could save others, but not himself.
I was waiting for it. In my notes for this show, I was like, things to expect. Lovecraft, D&D, prequel memes. We finally got one in. You right there? Oh, I see.
Do it.
Do it. Okay, we need to stop this.
You know I've been thinking about 20 doing.
No, please don't. Please,
I know.
please.
Please.
No.
Okay, no, we've got
Putting it
10
out
minutes
there.
left.
If you want them,
We have 10 minutes left. Nobody has come in for the next show yet, and I don't want to do another 10 minutes with you all, so let's get out of here.
We'll be back next week, folks.
No, we won't.
Yeah.
This is a one-off. Unless people... Okay. We were talking about this outside. Dungeons & Dragons on the radio. Do you think we could do it? It's only the problem is we can only guarantee an hour-long slot every so often, and we'd need to start a new campaign. But do you think...
If you really simplify the campaign, that
Or
would
if
work.
you play a little bit into it and then come over and continue.
Yeah.
I guess you could... The only problem is for listeners.
you just have to have someone who can voiceover voice going, the story so far.
Yes, we'll have to get you to record that every single time.
Half of every single episode
This
is just a
week.
recap of the last one.
We have discovered our heroes have entered a new perilous realm.
I need you to get voiceovers for the rest of my shows. Like, I attempt to do good voices, but now I feel completely overwhelmed. Like, this is amazing. Matthew is pointing
Do we
desperately.
need these or not?
Oh, okay.
We need them.
If we
Do
don't
you
need-
want to do them? Okay, so for reference's sake, Matthew has been working on something for weeks now in preparation for the show. He obviously knew about until an hour ago.
I've been working on... Someone, after I wrote a pun for every day of Advent and Christmas, which was great fun and got precisely 4 laughs over the course of the 24-day period, I was challenged, rather offhand. I bet you couldn't make a pun about all 50 states of America. So, I have...
Can we have a vote in the studio? Do we want to hear this?
Yes.
How long is it?
How
We
long
only
is
have
it?
10 minutes to fill, and I've played 2 songs, which is a record low.
I've read them. I'm pretty sure that I'll just about fill that.
We have time for the puns.
Do
Sure.
Yeah, but have we not had enough of
No.
Matthew's voice at this point?
No,
Do
read
you
the
have
puns.
anything you want to
Yeah.
add?
No.
Come on.
Okay, someone else wants to read the puns.
No.
Me?
Can we not? Can we not do the puns?
Okay, we'll save the puns for next time.
You need your own show that's just
Next
puns.
time.
There's a look of
Find the
depression in the face opposite me that says,
Thing
we
is,
do not need the puns in any
If
future.
you make a show that's just puns, I'll follow him around playing it. so that he has to keep listening to your voice.
Okay, fine.
Who do I speak to get that sorted?
The thing is, okay, you say next time.
9 minutes and counting.
If we could sort something out, I'm happy to leave this as an open opportunity for Phil Shows to ask the table, for the Dungeons & Dragons table, who wants to come, which would be you two and plus Sophie if she's not doing anything else. And even then she'll sit there on board. So,
Which I already do in D&D.
you're better than that though. You're good at getting involved in the D&D. I always see you anyway. That's just because me and you wind each other up. So yeah, I felt this could become a regular thing if you guys want it, though of course it needs to be much more structured than this.
More structure? I think this was quite structured.
What are you on about? We had like absolute madness.
Yeah, to be honest, the scaffolding was all over the floor.
He beat me to the name building that's quite famous for falling down joke by about 5 seconds. And for reference, that building would probably have been... I can't think of one now. I thought that time went by me for it either.
I thought you were going to say something wrong then, and we did not need that on NSL. So what are we come on? We've got technically we can finish in 3 minutes because it finishes at 5:02. No one is listening at this point, and people are waiting for the next show as it is. Does anyone have anything they want to do? Anything they want to say?
Tweet in.
You laugh, but I've always had a plan to make a good like face, like a social media profile for myself as a you know a high-ranking member of NSR now. But obviously I haven't.
If you are listening, do tweet in. Follow us on Facebook. Do we have a Facebook page?
No.
Should we get one?
No.
Someone with technical skills can make one in the next 3 minutes.
No one here has technical skills.
Technical skills.
We're in a
Facebook
radio
page.
studio. I don't understand technology.
Technical skills to create a Facebook page. One where the young people can go.
Okay, we're keeping Asher for next week. The other two can come and go, but Asher I'm just holding on to for background sound effects. What is he doing now? I think we should wrap it here because this has reached a level of insanity that I don't think I can cope with anymore. I'm impressed we've made it to an hour of this madness. This is what happens when I'm asked to fill a show late in the day, producing team. So never give this to me again, is what we're saying.
Or do if this was inexplicably good.
This is your way of blackmailing them into not giving you more slots.
Yes, this is my plan.
Make it happen.
Okay, if it may be, we'll hold the D&D idea on the table as an option. Matthew is brimming with the idea, he thinks it'll have so much fun. I don't know about the others. We'll see, and we'll see who comes in. I hope you have enjoyed this utter madness. I will finish.
You probably haven't.
You almost definitely haven't.
Statistics would suggest that had I read out my 50 puns, each one of you would have laughed at one of them.
They are good puns.
Wait, you're suggesting there were 50 people listening?
Statistically speaking.
Each person listening would have laughed at one. I.e., there would have been 6
you'd have had 3 laughs.
Oh, I see what you mean.
6 laughs total, please.
Oh, okay.
There are some really good puns in here.
And they are good puns.
Okay, hold on to them for another time. Let's put on one more song to end this. This is The Jam and a town called Malice. I need to run because you people are driving me insane. Bye.
Wait, the mic's on.
Time is short and
Okay, I feel deeply apologetic. The people who made this mess have left the room. That was more madness than I was expecting, but this is what happens when I get a few hours' notice to do a show and don't plan it. This is primarily my fault, I'll be honest, people. If you're a regular listener to the show, I hope to see you in next week's for my usual 11 o'clock show, and it will all be fine, hopefully, and it will be a regular Saturday, and all this madness will have come down. Here's my ending song. It was good hearing from you, being here again. I can't even find the ending. This has been the craziest session. I deeply apologise to everybody.